So Ben, thanks so much for talking to us. Before we shut the church, we were in a series called The Gospel According to You, and we were hearing from different people in the congregation about their own lives and just getting to know each other better. So thanks so much for talking to us in these very different circumstances.
Thank you for inviting me.
So Ben, you live in London. Just tell us what life is like for you ordinarily, not now, but ordinarily.
Sure. So I live in Wandsworth, and well, I'm an accountant by trade, and really excited member of St James's Piccadilly for the last 2 years. Aside from that, really into sort of sport and current affairs and politics, and I try and go to lots of good events after work or the weekends in those areas.
And what's your sport? What's your favourite sport?
Well, I'm a massive football fan. I support Manchester United. I forgot. Are you Brentford? I forgot.
Rangers.
Yeah, that's the one. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So I supported Manchester United since I was a child, and kind of grown up with the kind of romance around an era there, under Sir Alex Ferguson, and some household names. And so be really into football, watching, playing not so well, unfortunately, but definitely watching. And other sports like rugby and cricket. Apart from the fitness side, I love the way that it can bring the country together, or people together, particularly at big events. So got quite passionate about that. Yeah.
And so you obviously not been able to watch any live sport during this lockdown period, but can you just say a little bit about what life's been like for you in this particular era that we're living through now? What's it like?
Sure. So I must admit, it was a shock initially. I think the first 3 weeks, it was a shock to the system in terms of the loss of freedom to go out and meet people and take part in events. But I've got used to it now. I think routine is critical in these kind of times. So I've got a good routine in the mornings. I do a bit of exercise, and I've actually got back into reading a lot, and just trying to engage with people online. So Zoom, for example. But I have to say, I also was very lucky. I think that my health has remained intact throughout, and my friends and families also. So I've got to remember that. But now I've got this routine, regular exercise, the reading, and just trying to pick up interesting new hobbies like learning a new language or origami, for example.
Origami, great.
Yes. So now
you're an accountant, Bennett. Have you been working? Have you been carrying on working, or what's your work situation?
Yes, exactly. So I've been working from home. I think with finance, with the kind of job I have, it's quite flexible. One can work from home anyway. So yeah, been carrying on with that, and sort of no real change.
We're really lucky at St James's because you're our treasurer. We won't go into all of that, but we're really lucky to have you.
Well, it's very kind of you to say that. It's very kind of you to say that, and it's been a pleasure to come to St James's for the last 2 years. And for me, if I can contribute something back, it's a pleasure to do that, and to work with the teams as well, with the various people in the standing committee and the PCC. Has been a real privilege as well. So, yeah, as you said, been treasurer for the last 6 months.
And in terms of your own faith, Ben, I mean, what brings you to want to go to church? I mean, any church. How do you express your faith, and how important is that to you? I guess especially at this time.
Well, faith in general is hugely important to me. I grew up as a Christian, and my personal views, in life, Christ is the centre of everything, and how does that show in my life? Well, through my daily prayers. I think being religious is also about how you behave with other people as well, and so I try to reflect that in how I treat other people. And I try and also reflect back to the Bible as well, regularly, just to keep into sort of as food for my soul, as it were. And I think at the moment, even more, I think having the faith and trust in the Lord. But you say now, I think in general, I think at all times, I believe in life that you can't do anything yourself. Everything is through the will of Christ. You can help yourself, but you have to go to him for help first, or him, I say him, or whoever you believe Christ to be. But you have to go to that person first for help. So I think everything I do, everything I've lucky to have, is through Christ's mercy.
And have you, has your faith been a part of your life always, or was there a kind of development of it, or a moment when it changed, or has it just always been there for you?
It's a really good question, actually, because I probably only started praying regularly when I was around 8 or 9 years old. And it was because I frankly couldn't sleep. I was having, I'd go to bed and have regular nightmares about things. And I just felt I didn't have that, I couldn't get that peace. And that's what sort of prompted me to talk to the Lord more frequently, to try and get that peace in myself. So it sort of steps up then. Throughout, I've tried to go to church regularly. At university, I didn't manage it so much, but now, up until this happened, I was very happily attending St James's. I think the thing that St James's distinguishes itself from other churches is because, for me, it's also about inclusivity. I think the Lord that I worship is inclusive to everybody. Or whoever, I mean, whether you are Muslim faith or Jewish faith, I think any religion, I think, should be inclusive and encompassing. So that's where that's where I'm attracted to. And perhaps in other establishments I've been to, maybe they've been a bit more conservative in their beliefs. And I have felt that not me, but not everybody would be welcome. And that matters to me, because I'd hate to go and worship a Lord that excluded some people.
And I mean, we're calling this series "The Gospel According to You," which isn't an original title, but we're just asking people, what kind of advice would you give, or what message would you like to give us in this time, from your own faith perspective? Sure.
Well, I find Psalm 91 very reassuring, particularly. And I think it's along the lines of, do not let your heart be troubled. I think go to the Lord for help. Remember the Lord is there, and have faith and believe. I think that's all the Lord asks, to have faith and belief in him or her or whatever. And then from that point, I think you're on a good path. So faith and belief.
Ben, it's such a pleasure to talk to you. We could, as with all of these conversations, we felt like we could go on for a really long time. But thank you so much for giving us your time and your thoughts as part of this series.
My pleasure.
We look forward to you being our treasurer for a long time to come.
Thank you for inviting me. That's very kind of you. And thank you for inviting me. Okay.